We'll start with the prayers. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramarthanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. Today we are going to discuss chapter 6 of the Bhagavad Gita, which is called as Dhyana Yoga. Dhyana means meditation, and it's a very, very popular subject today. Why is it popular? Because people are having a lot of problems outside, and they would like to go inside and get rid of the problems in the mind. This is a technique which has been given in the Indian scriptures since a very, very long time. And you find meditation exercises mentioned in the Upanishads, primary source of knowledge. Normally, we are used to seeing the world outside, and we have reached the end of the cosmos by sending vehicles to the moon and bringing the rocks back to the earth, trying to put man in Mars, and so on. That is the end of, that is going out in the external universe. What the scriptures tell us is, as much as you see the cosmos outside, you can see the cosmos inside you. And this comes by training the mind to see that cosmos. The entire spiritual journey is going inside into our own mind. And as we learn to go inside deeper and deeper, like we discover different cosmoses in the external world, we can also discover a similar, deeper levels of understanding of our nature. Very, very deep subject matter. At what level we go in and how far we are going to go, how far we are able to go into the deeper aspects of our own mind depends on two things that Lord Krishna will teach us in this chapter itself, which is called as vairagyam and abhyasa. Vairagyam means control of the sense organs from the sense objects. Abhyasa means practice. I will go deeper into the meanings of these two words when we go up to the verses. This chapter consists of 47 verses broken up into 6 topics. I have not put verse number so-and-so to so-and-so in this text, in this particular summary, because the topics are discussed in many verses across the whole chapter. The 6 topics are qualifications for meditation, preparation for meditation, the process of meditation, the object of meditation, what are the obstacles in meditation, and what is the benefit of meditation. So this, if anybody wants to meditate, my suggestion would be to study this chapter thoroughly, because this is a comprehensive chapter on all aspects of meditation. And Lord Krishna has given us a very, very beautiful method by which we can all achieve success in meditation. The first topic is, who is the qualified adhikari or a seeker who can do meditation? And these qualifications are basically given as three qualifications. One is called as samatvam. Samatvam means equality or tranquility of the mind. Equanimity or tranquility of the mind. A poise, which comes from our daily interactions with the outer world. This samatvam or equanimity also comes from a proper lifestyle. In the yoga shastra, they talk about yamas and niyamas, the do's and don'ts which we follow in life. So a proper lifestyle is very important for us to achieve success in meditation. Another important thing is we must reduce our actions, karmas. Suppose I want to meditate, I cannot be engaged in very hectic activity throughout the day and hope that when I sit in meditation, I will forget about everything and then I will be able to go into my deeper aspects of the mind. So the first qualification is samatvam, a sort of a equipoise in the mind, which can be gathered by a proper lifestyle, a proper diet, and so on. Then vairagyam is another qualification, which is called as detachment from the sense objects. And the third qualification, I will go into the deeper aspect of vairagyam in verse 4. And self-confidence is manakripa. Self-confidence means I have a firm conviction that I will achieve success in meditation. Many of us give up meditation because we suddenly feel that my mind, nobody knows my mind, but it's so terrible and so agitated, I can never meditate. But Lord Krishna here says, do not go by the whims and fancies of your mind. Have the self-confidence and assert that I can achieve. In the first verse itself, Lord describes who is a yogi. What is the definition of a yogi? Because in this chapter, many times you will find yoga and a yogi used in this, very commonly in this whole chapter. Anashrita karma phalam karya karma karoti yaha sa sannyasi cha yogi cha niragnir cha kriyaha. So the first qualification here, straight away Lord says, is one who performs his duty. So we can never sit in meditation if we are not doing our duty properly. Our duty to the family, duty to ourselves, to earn money, to have a comfortable life. So a person must perform duty. And then the second qualification here is without depending on the fruits of action. Fruits of action means anxiety. Whether I will get this, I will get this, whether I'll get this. So much of anxiety you have that you lose track of doing a good action itself. A yogi or a sannyasi is one who has renounced the results and says that I am going to just perform the best to the best of my ability, and he is one who has given up the agitations which are involved in getting a particular result of an action. If we are elated or we are in depression, what will happen is mind will be occupied and the sense objects will keep on disturbing us. For example, if somebody is playing a tennis match, both the winner and the loser both can't do meditation, because the winner will think, oh, I have won such a great cup today. And then his mind will be elated. He can't meditate. Similarly, a loser, he also cannot meditate because his mind is agitated. So what Lord Krishna says is, maintain samatvam. As much as possible, cultivate this quality of equanimity of mind in all situations. This will give us the qualification to go deeper into our mind. And one of the best ways to maintain this equanimity is to reduce our likes and dislikes of this objects, beings in the world. It is this likes and dislikes which causes a tremendous turbulence in the mind. As we accept situations which come to us, then what happens is, then our likes and dislikes get neutralized. And then the meditation becomes efficacious. So in short, samatvam is a result of a proper lifestyle and not being too much bothered with our likes and dislikes. Mind will have its impulses, but we have to slowly learn, gradually learn to control them. It's not easy, but it can be practiced. We can give it a try. And as we try, we will find that we are successful. Vairagyam, the second and the fourth verse of this chapter, tells us that nobody can become a yogi who cannot renounce the thoughts in the mind. That is the main thing which we are talking about when it comes to vairagyam. Thought control, reduction of the number of quantity of thoughts, improving the quality of the thoughts, changing the pattern of our thoughts. These are the three goals of preparations which we need to do. And it will happen by practice. Whatever we give priority in life, that automatically occupies our mind. Suppose I give priority, a scientist will say, will keep on thinking about finding out a solution for, say, COVID virus. So 24 hours of the day, he'll be thinking about how to get that solution out, because the whole world is waiting for it. A batsman, cricket batsman, will say, okay, how can I score a century in cricket? A yoga teacher will say, how can I keep on developing new postures to keep this body fit? And similarly, and so on. I mean, in different fields, each one of us give priority to a certain topic, and wherever we give the priority, the mind will start shifting to that pattern of thoughts. So what do we do then? When I spend time and say that freedom from thought and attachment to my real nature, if I give that as a top priority, then what will happen is the mind will automatically move in that direction. So the priority in life is extremely important. Maturity of the mind is not adamancy. It can be practiced. It can come by knowledge. The other goals which we have in life, which is dharma, artha, kama, a life of values, a life to earn money, and a life of entertainments. These three goals, they become subservient. Subservient means they get a lower level of priority as we progress in the study of Atma. When we study the inner essence in us, what happens is the detachment to the other aspects of our life automatically happens. When that happens, the process of meditation becomes easier. So vairagyam is the second qualification, samatvam is the first. The third qualification is self-confidence. This is an obstacle. When I say this obstacle, if I don't have the confidence, then there are three types of worries which keep on attacking me all the time throughout my life. Adhyatmika, adi bhautika, adi daivika. Adhyatmika means inside me itself, I create a lot of confusions, a lot of negative thoughts. That is called as adhyatmika obstacles. That can be removed by Atma Vishwasaha. Atma Vishwasaha, Atma here stands for the self-confidence. Sometimes we even tell God, oh God, you don't know who I am. How terrible, how terrible is my mind, you don't know. So you even have you can even have a debate with God and say, no, you cannot change me. So these things are all basically our own mind telling us that no, mind cannot be controlled. So here, what we need to do is, we need to say that by the grace of Lord or the higher power in our own self, I will accomplish my goal of learning who I am. This is a deliberate thought which we have to bring in our mind. We should not have an arrogance that I can, by my own effort, achieve everything. I can achieve this goal of moksha. That's not possible. It's not our own effort, self-effort, which will give us the goal, but ultimately it is there is some power in this universe which controls my mind, and I surrender to that power and say this, because it is beyond my mind. That power is not under my control. There are so many uncontrollable situations in the world. We have absolutely no control. So in all those respects, we must have some surrender towards that power which controls this entire cosmos. Adi Bhautika means people around us. They may give us obstacles. They may say, why? Oh, some of our friends will tease us and say, oh, don't worry, you will never get into meditation. It's so tough. So those are all obstacles to meditation. So we have to get over them. Adi Daivika means there are certain uncontrollable factors which may cause some obstacles, but again, we have to win over them and then have the confidence that, yes, I will succeed. Yes, I will succeed. Even if it takes 10 years, 5 years. This process of meditation is a very, very gradual process which builds up and builds up and builds up. And then it is not something which you will find that I don't see any benefit out of it. As you practice, it's like learning to drive a car, or learning to cycle, or learning a technique of swimming, for example. Initially, things may be very, very difficult, but as you practice, what happens is you become an expert Olympic swimmer. In chapter 18 of the Bhagavad Gita, there is a verse, I will refer to that verse, where he says, where Arjuna says, Lord, you be the engine in front of me, and you pull me. I will come behind you. So this is an attitude in meditation. There is something called as Atma, there is something called as pure consciousness, awareness principle in all of us. And it's a very, very powerful substance or entity, if you can call it. Have full confidence that yes, I will be able to withdraw from my mind and then attach myself to this pure consciousness. That confidence is a very, very important, which Lord Krishna says, Uddharet atmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet atmaiva atmano bandhuha atmaiva rupuratmanaha. Very, very important verse of the Bhagavad Gita, very often quoted, this fifth verse of the Bhagavad Gita, which says, let a man lift himself by his own self. His own self here means by his own willpower. And let him not lower himself. Let us not degrade ourselves at any point of time. This is a beautiful technique which Lord Krishna says, at any time, do not criticize your mind, because it's through this mind we will achieve the ultimate goal. Whatever we do in this life is all through our mind. All of us have the same instrument called as the mind and intellect. We are indwellers in this body. A jiva or a soul is an indweller in this body. It uses the body as an outer shell in which the jiva resides, the soul resides. The soul has got a mind. The soul can use the body and it can use the instrument called as the mind. And using this mind, it can perform actions in the world outside. Using the mind, it can go deeper and realize that mind is nothing else but pure awareness. The origin of the mind is pure awareness. The ultimate essence of the mind is pure awareness. That is what here Lord Krishna is saying, let a man rise and have this confidence that I can come out of my obstacles. This next verse, the sixth verse, Bandhuratma manastasya yenatmaivatmana jitaha anatmanastu shatrutve varte tatmaiva shatruvat. This is a beautiful technique which he is giving us. The self is a friend of the self. The self, S is capital there. S means the Atma. Atma is a friend of the self. Self here means the mind, the second self. So the one who has conquered himself by the Atma, for him, the mind is a friend. For the mind which is not controlled, it becomes an enemy. So if you ask anybody, is my mind a friend to me or is my mind a friend, is an enemy to me? All of us will give us a mixed answer and say, yes, sometimes the mind is a friend and sometimes the mind is an enemy. I have no control over that mind, then it becomes my enemy because I get into a lot of confusions and delusions and imaginations. I have absolutely no control on that mind. At that time, we face anxiety, we face problems in life. It is the mind, it is only the mind giving thoughts which gives us all the sorrow in the world. And if I am able to control that mind through the process of meditation, I can have a very peaceful life in spite of the situations outside which can be pleasurable, which can be unpleasurable. But ultimately, the control button is in me. If I can remain stable, I will be able to handle the situations outside. That is why meditation is an extremely important technique to try and see how I can control the mind. Because two things we have to control. One is the sense organs, another is the mind. And then we can have a good quality of life. The technique is only two things: how to control my sense organs, how to control my mind. If I learn how to control my mind, I will be able to control my sense organs, because the sense organs are ultimately driven by the mind. These are the lessons which we learn in this chapter. In the 18th chapter, I was telling you in the 58th verse, fixing your mind upon me, you shall by my grace overcome all obstacles. See, this is the Atma talking in the 18th chapter. The whole Bhagavad Gita is nothing else but the talk of a lesson by the pure consciousness to all of us, which are today ahamkara. We are all today attached to our body and mind, and we are learning this from the song of that pure consciousness. And what is the teaching here in the 58th verse? It says, fix your mind upon me. Upon me means upon that pure consciousness. How do I fix that mind? By saying that I am the witness of all my thoughts. When you say that, what happens is the thoughts are then fixed on the Atma. But if we don't do that, what happens? Then we are given to egoism. That is what is called as attaching ourselves to the mind. So the I which is there in this body, which is the real art, which is the real soul, when it gets identified with the thoughts of the mind and with the thoughts of the world, becomes the ahamkara, the ego I, the small I. This small I has to learn that it is not the one which is attached to the mind and the external sense organs and the world, but it is the Atma, which is the pure consciousness. That Atma is called as the big I. So the small I drops its smallness and attaches itself to the big I. Yoga means dropping the small I. Yoga means union with the big I. I must know the demarcation between the two. When I'm sitting in meditation, I should note what constitutes the mind, what constitutes the pure awareness principle. And knowing these techniques which are taught in the Bhagavad Gita, I will be able to one day say, I am that pure self. I am not the body, I am not the mind, but I am that pure consciousness. The day I reconcile and I am able to claim that, that day I am free. Free forever. Eternally free. Because I know my truth. I know that I am the ultimate truth of this entire universe, because there is only one Atma. In the 13th chapter, Lord Krishna will say there is only one consciousness which is behind every body and mind. If I realize I am that pure consciousness, I will know that that is the true self of my children. It is the true self of everybody who is living in this universe. So that is the first topic about adhikari, who is qualified to meditate. The second topic is preparation for meditation. This is an important thing for beginners. For people who have done meditation before and who are in the process of meditation, they know the process, but they may or may not be 100% successful in meditation because of so many obstacles. So in the beginning, what here Lord Krishna, because this is a beautiful chapter giving out all aspects of meditation, it tells us what are these initial steps in which we should focus on when we are beginning to meditate. Suppose you have not meditated at all, and today is the first day you're listening to the topic of meditation called Dhyana, and you want to give it a try. Then these small lessons which are given here will be important for you. The first one is that there are two main things. One is the physical preparation and the second is mental preparation. The physical preparation is given out in verse number 11, 12 and 13 of this chapter. And it talks about asana. Asana means in what position do you sit? Posture, in which do you meditate lying down in the bed, or do you sit in meditation in a chair, or do you sit down in Padmasana and meditate? That is what is being taught here. When it comes to asana, the general rule is whatever is a comfortable posture, you take that posture and you can close your eyes and meditate. It need not be that you sit in Padmasana cross-legged, because some of us may not be able to sit on the ground. Doesn't matter. So what it says is, what is important is after deciding to meditate, you don't move your body unnecessarily. Because the moment the body gets attention, then you have lost the sight of Atma. And the second aspect of controlling the thoughts. So the posture is important mainly to control and get inward into the mind. Another thing which helps is prana vikshanam, that means awareness of the prana. The breathing, what we do is we sit in meditation, we just observe our breath first. I have about 20 meditation sessions in my website. I have taken up meditation at a very deep level. There are 20 meditations in my website. You can go through some of them. Initially, there also I talked about how to sit and how to slowly get your mind tuned for meditation. So observing the breath, initially you sit in a right posture, observe your breath, observe the inhalation and exhalation. This will help to calm the mind, because there is a connection between the prana and the mind. Very beautiful connection. This is given in the scriptures. There is no other place it'll tell you that the mind and the prana, the oxygen which we breathe in, and the mind and the thoughts, basically the thoughts have a connection to the quality of our breath. That is why it is also recommended in the Yoga Shastra, you do pranayama before meditation. These are wonderful techniques. Ultimately, to do what? We'll come into that process in the next, we'll see what is ultimate, where we are trying to reach. So by observing the breathing, what happens is the mind gets control and the sense organs, they get withdrawn from the sense objects outside. Usually what happens is when we sit in meditation, our mind immediately gets preoccupied with all the objects in the world. Suppose I'm bothered about my children. You sit down, you close your eyes, nothing will happen except your children thoughts will come in your mind. Suppose you have a big task to do in the office tomorrow, and you sit in the morning to meditate. You will again keep on, your mind will be preoccupied with that big task. which means your sense organs are going outside to the sense objects, and it's dwelling on them. That's all. So in 11, 12, and 13, the basic steps of control are given. As I said, making the prana smooth and even will help a lot in this in meditation. The eyes do not concentrate on any external object, they are gently closed. 14th, so this is the physical aspect. The mental, the inner aspects are given in verse 14, 24, and 25. That is why I said there are verses which jump here, which covers the same topic in different ends of the chapter. The mind projects its own world and worries about the office or children or situations outside. This is a natural process. This is how the mind is made. There is nothing to worry about this, because this is it's not only your mind, it is everybody's mind is made up of the same 5 elements. The 5 elements think about nothing but except the sense objects. It can never think about Atma because they are designed like that. So how do I withdraw the mind from the external objects? This has been said in Kaivalya Upanishad also, in many other Upanishads. It says temporarily for 20 minutes or 10 minutes, you tell yourself, oh Lord, I surrender everything which I have about my worries outside, everything. I just want to put it at your feet. I want to now think about only you. So surrendering at the feet will help us. These are all techniques, yeah. These are all tips. If we follow the tips, you will get one step ahead. So the basic thing is, you must remember there is a controller of the mind. All our minds are controlled by the total mind principle called as Hiranyagarbha. Upanishads describe that there is a total mind. Like we have the body is controlled by the 5 elements. The 5 elements are controlled by Virat Purushaha. There is a controller. So similar, like the gross body, the subtle mind, there is a controller. So what we do is we temporarily surrender our mind to that controller. Generally, when we are quiet, worry occupies our mind. And worry comes in the form of 2 ways. One is guilt, another is anxiety. Either I'm guilty of the past, I've done this, and then your mind keeps on going in circles, episode after episode inside. Or it is future, I have to do this, again, episodes after episodes. These are all internal episodes which are going on, either in the form of guilt or in the form of anxiety. And these 2 rakshasas, or these 2 the devilic forces which are there in the mind, these are can be controlled only by surrender to the total mind. There is a total principle. And then what you say is, oh Lord, give me the strength for the next 10 minutes not to think of these. Let me dwell on the object of meditation for the next 10 minutes only. After 10 minutes, I will put on the hat again. I will put on the worrying cap and anxiety cap. But 10 minutes during meditation, a deliberate thought, if you can bring about, these are all difficult things to do, but it can be done. People have done it. Therefore, you and I can do it. So the Sharanagati helps in mental preparation. That means now my body is ready. It is not seeking attention from me. The mind is ready. It is not seeking attention from me. These are the verses which I have quoted here in the previous slide. The actual verses are here. You can go through these verses whenever you are trying to go a little bit deeper into the study. And each of these verses, I have got notes on them, which I will be attaching when I send the video of this session. Each verse has got some notes. So people who want to dwell, they can go through those notes. So the 11th verse talks about the sitting posture. The 12th verse talks about making the mind single pointed. Then the 13th verse talks about keeping the body, head and the neck in a straight line. And then having a gentle gaze at the tip of the nose. Here, tip of the nose means in that direction, that's all. You don't have to keep looking for the nose and say, okay, where is my nose and am I looking at the tip or not? Forget about it. Don't do that. It will cause a headache. Generally say that this is the direction in which I would like to have the gaze. That's all. So dropping the desires slowly, we come to have a control on the mental thoughts. Once we have a control on the mental thoughts and we have a control over the body, then we should note what is the process of meditation which we should enter. Here, the definition of dhyanam is important to understand. When dhyanam, the definition of dhyanam in Sanskrit has been said, sajatiya pratyaya pravaha vijatiya pratyaya anantara. What does it mean? Flow of similar thoughts, undistracted by dissimilar thoughts. This is the definition of meditation. Flow of similar thoughts means what? I am going to think of only one subject matter. And that subject matter is Atma. Undistracted by dissimilar thoughts. That means suppose a thought of the house, suppose the thought of office or the children or any other distracting thought comes, I will tell in the seat of meditation, I will say to myself, I will think about these other topics later. Right now, I want to think about pure consciousness. What is this pure consciousness? What is the nature of that consciousness? Which I have learned from the Bhagavad Gita. I want to dwell on that. So that should be the goal. The goal is not to make the mind blank. Very important point. Many people get lost in this particular aspect. They think that making the mind blank is the goal of meditation. They become very happy and say, well, my mind was very quiet yesterday. It was blank yesterday. And therefore, my meditation was super. It is not the goal. The goal is to dwell on Atma. I will explain more as we go by. Because by making the mind blank and saying that I am attached to that blankness and blankness is the reality, you are getting into a philosophy called as Shunyam, Shunyavada. Shunyavada means that the whole world is nothingness. There is only nothingness in the world. But that is a wrong philosophy. Manasa Vyapara means mental function. The Yoga Shastra talks about 3 stages of meditation. After Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, then they go into other aspects of deeper aspects of dharana, dhyana, samadhi. What is dharana? Now I am talking about Yoga Shastra. This is the way the yogi philosophers, they teach meditation. Dharana means focusing the mind on an object of meditation. Normally, our mind is out of focus. Dhru, dharana comes from the root dhru in Sanskrit. Dhru means to hold. If we are, most of us must have handled a camera before. When we handle a camera, I'm talking not of the mobile camera, but I'm talking about the physical camera. When we have a proper camera, we will try to focus with the help of the lens. With the hand, we'll try to focus. That aspect of focusing is called as dharana. Because the mind will keep on going out of focus into all other areas. You're trying to bring it to one area. As long as you're trying to bring it to that area of the object of meditation, it is called as dharana. The moment you are able to focus and you're able to now say, yes, my hand is steady, my lens are ready, and and I am ready to click. I'm not clicking. I'm ready to click the picture. That is called as the dhyana. That means I am learning to maintain the retention of the mind on the object. Maintenance is called as dhyanam. Suppose I start meditating on a picture of Lord Krishna or a picture of Rama in my mind. So the moment I get that picture, then all my thoughts are focused on that picture. In between, if the thoughts are going out, that is called as dharana. Dharana means again and again you try and bring back the mind into this picture. That is the first level of meditation. That means all of us get into the level 1 of dharana first. Level 2 is, yes, now you have your mind absolutely on that picture. I need to maintain that steady state of mind. These are all practical tips. These all are useful. If you know this, then it is useful when you go inside, because otherwise we'll get lost in meditation. Then the third step is samadhi. That means now the mind is 100% focused on Atma, or that object of meditation. Totally it gets absorbed. When it gets absorbed, buddhi, that means the intellect, which is usually having a flow of thoughts, the dhi means buddhi, that becomes samam. Samam means it becomes quiet. Samadhi is a state in which there is only one object in which my mind is dwelling. Without effort, without will of the mind. These two are very important. This is the final stage in which you can enter in meditation. This is called as the absorption state of meditation. The earlier two stages were only preliminary stages, but this is the end result of meditation. This state is samadhi is very well known to all of us. It is not a mysterious phenomena. We must be very clear. Because in different fields, we are able to get this samadhi. Only the vishaya are different. Suppose one is involved in the medical field, then he is able to focus his mind on the areas of medicine. Similarly, if one is in the engineering field or a computer field, all of us, we are able to focus. It's not that we don't focus, we can focus. And therefore, the Vishayas may be different, but we have that ability and we should use that ability to focus on that pure consciousness, the awareness principle in us. Yada viniyatam chittam atmanyeva tishtati nispraha sarva kamebhyo yukta ityuchyate tada. So when the mind gets focused on the self only, free from the objects of desires, then what we call is that yukta state comes in. Yukta means he is united with that object. Like I said, you can be watching a cricket match or a golf match, or then you are completely yuktaha. You are watching a movie, you're completely yuktaha. That means the mind and the object, they are completely in sync. What we have to do in the seat of meditation is, instead of focusing on an object outside, we have to look at our own self. Who am I? Here the Vishaya is aham, I, the consciousness, I, the awareness principle is the Vishaya. And therefore, what is the nature of this pure consciousness? It is Shuddhaha. Shuddhaha means it's ever pure. Pure means what? It is unadulterated with anything else except itself. There are no thoughts in the pure awareness. Absolutely no thoughts. That is why it is called as Shuddhaha. And it's called Purnaha. Purnaha means it is complete, fulfilled in itself. So when I attach to this Atma and I say Aham Purnaha, I am that pure consciousness, I am fulfilled in life, I am blissful, I am pure, then what happens is I am claiming that as my nature. Muktaha means free. It's ever free. This consciousness is ever free. It is never attached to anything because it cannot get attached. It is the spiritual principle in us. Matter and the spirit, they can never get attached because they are two different levels. It's like the waker can never get attached to the dreamer. Atma can never get attached to the waker I, the ahamkara I, which is going through the waking world. The waking world and the waking seer is at a different level, which is called as the ahamkara, but the real seer is the consciousness, is a higher level. They have no relationship at all. These are the things which we learn from the Bhagavad Gita. In the second chapter, the Lord taught us, I have taken those sessions where I took all the aspects of the Atma from verse number 12 to verse number 30. If you want to find out what should be the object of meditation, you have to go and revise that portion, chapter 2, from verse number 12 to 25. Those are the natures that we should bring into the meditation as an object. The Atma should become the object for the final meditation. Initially, we can use different aspects. We can imagine a beautiful scenery. We can imagine some pictures. We can imagine a god with form. These are all the initial steps. But finally, we have to come to the level of pure awareness consciousness. That is the ultimate goal of Dhyana Vishayam. Akarta means, like we studied in the 5th chapter and the 4th chapter, this Atma is never involved in action. It is not a doer. Who is the doer? The mind is the doer. The body is the doer, not Atma. Atma is not a bhokta, is not an enjoyer. This is all we studied in the 5th chapter. So whatever we have studied in the 4th, 5th, and the 3rd chapter, we should remember that and apply it in the 6th chapter. Sarvagataha, these are all Sanskrit words which are used. If you can learn the words, it's fine. Otherwise, you just learn the meanings in English. Sarvagata means all pervading. Nirgunaha means formless. Nityaha means it is eternal. It is always there, always there. In the past it was there, right now it is there, and the future awareness will be there. This awareness does not change at all. These are the things which you have learned in the 2nd chapter. Nirvikaraha. Ekaha. There is only one consciousness. All throughout in the history of mankind, in the history of cosmos, there is only one consciousness. That is what is my goal. That is the Vishayam which Lord Krishna is teaching. Many of you will say, well, is it possible to get to this level? Yes, it is possible. Upadesha Sara Ramana Maharishi says, Ajyadhyaraya strostasa samam sarala chintanam viralataha param. What it means is uninterrupted contemplation is like a stream of butter. Suppose you have oil and you take a vessel and you are transferring the oil from one vessel to the other vessel. When you're transferring, you'll find that the flow of the oil is in one continuous stream. Similar should be our thought flow. Continuously thinking of one object, or a flow of a river continuously flowing in one direction. Similarly should be our thoughts in meditation. Yatha dipo nivatasto dengate sopamasprata yogino yadachittasya yunjato yogam atmanaha. A very beautiful example Lord Krishna gives here. Suppose you place a lamp in a glass case, it will be without any flickering. It will be a steady flame. Similarly, when you look at pure awareness consciousness principle kept in the cage of the mind, this pure awareness does not flicker. Because of vairagyam, the cage of the mind, that case, glass case is called as vairagyam case. It is a case of bhakti. It's a case of shraddha. So the glass covering is what I have gained. I've got full vairagyam from the external world, and I am able to focus on that pure awareness. It's possible. If we do it regularly, you will come to this realization, I am that pure self. So the two methods to stop the agitations in the mind are vairagyam and abhyasa. The 4th topic is, what is the object of meditation? Generally, we talk about 2 objects. One is Saguna Ishvara and the other topic is Nirguna Ishvara. Saguna Ishvara means it is Lord with attributes. When we do Saguna Ishvara, it is called as Upasana. The term used for meditation is called as Upasana. The same when we do without the form, a formless, then it is called as Nirguna Dhyanam. So this is the term definite. When we say what is Dhyanam and what is Upasana, Upasana means meditating on Lord with form, and it is Dvaitam. Dvaitam means it involves 2, I the meditator and the object of meditation. Whereas in Nirguna Ishvara Dhyanam, it is basically only one object. There is only one consciousness which is the substratum for both the seer and the seen. In Keno Upanishad, a very beautiful Upanishad, it says, Yan manasana manute yena hur manomatam tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam yadidam upasate. It's here it talks about nirguna upasana. So here it clearly says that final meditation is nirgunam, that means formless meditation, not meditation with form. These are all said in the Upanishads. These are all meditation with form is in the beginning stages. And the object of meditation, like I said, is Atma, which is described in chapter 2. And also it is described in this chapter also, Atma Swarupam. There are many verses which talk about Atma Swarupam. At the end of my notes, you will find some verses I have attached. It all talks about Atma. Keno Upanishad also says, Ya chakshusha na pashyati yena chakshur pashyati tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam yadidam upasate. That means what the eyes cannot see, but the power behind the eyes which enables the eyes to see, that is the object of meditation. That is the Atma principle. Arjuna asked this question, my mind is very chanchalam. Means it is always flickering. It's always wants to go here, wants to go there, he wants to do this and wants to do that. How do I control this mind? To which Lord Krishna says, Shanai Rupa Ramet Buddhya Dhriti Grihitayaha Atmas Samstam Manakritva Nakinchidapi Chintayet. Very beautiful verse. He says, little by little, let him attain quietude of the intellect. That means gradual, small steps. Take small steps. And what is the next one after this verse? Take small steps to quieten your mind. Yatho nischariti manaschanchalamasstiram tatho tatastatho niyam yetad atmanyeva pasham nayet. From whatever cause the restlessness and the mind wanders away, from that let him restrain it and bring it back under the control. That means whenever your mind is going out, slowly try to gradually bring the mind back to the object of meditation. There are many ways to meditate. One of the ways to meditate is the 5 koshas. That means I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the prana, and so on. These are all the dresses which I'm wearing only to fulfill the prarabdha. Prarabdha means there is a law of karma which is going on in this universe. I am a part of that law. The body is worn up, is taken up. It's a dress, but I am that pure awareness. And that pure awareness, what is the most beautiful mantra of the Bhagavad Gita? Najayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita na vana bhuyaha ajo nitya sashvatoyam puranaha na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Beautiful central verse of the 2nd chapter. I, the Atma, am not born. I, the Atma, will never die. I will never cease. I am eternal. I am changeless. This is what I have to meditate. A conscious, deliberate thought has to be brought. That is called as Vedantic meditation. These are all some of the verses which talks about how I should bring back the thoughts back to Atma. In different chapters, chapter 4, chapter 5, there are different chapters which tells us how to bring back and hold the Atma in meditation. I've just put this. I won't go into the depth of these verses, because you can just read the verses, because we have covered chapter 3, 4, and 5. I've just put all of them together so that you know that the body is acting, Atma is not acting. Body, the very famous verses of the 9th and 10th verses of the chapter 5, Pralapan, Visrajan, Grinnan, only last week we did this. That I am not the body which is acting, the body or the mind which is acting, but I am that Atma which is a witness to these actions. The witness principle, if you hold on to it, then meditation becomes very easy. Everything becomes control. Controlling sense organs becomes easy. Controlling a mind becomes easy. Only thing is you are just witnessing your thoughts. That's all. And this is something which is the first step in meditation. I witness my own thoughts. Bhagavad Upanishad, why do we insist on meditation or dhyanam? Because in this Upanishad, it has been said that first we should listen, shrotravyaha. If you look at the end portion, one should hear, then reflect, and one meditate later on Atma. This is the pramanam. Bhagavad Upanishad, the 4th chapter, tells us that one should hear about Atma, reflect on Atma, and then meditate on Atma as me. Claim that Atma as one's Swarupa. So we all start with Saguna Dhyanam with the help of Puranas. That means Shiva, Lord Vishnu, Saraswati. All these are all Puranic stories, but they are all beginning steps. In chapter 8, the same thing will be called as abhyasa yoga. The 5th topic deals with what are the obstacles in meditation, because if I know the obstacles, then I will be ready to know that I am facing some obstacles in meditation. There are basically 4 main obstacles. Number 1 is layaha, which is called as sleep. Most of us, when we close our eyes, the mind gets the instruction that it's time to sleep, because that is how the mind has been trained right from our birth. So even when we close, when you go in the night to sleep, we just close our eyes first. Then the mind gets the instruction, yes, it's time to sleep, and it goes to sleep. So similarly, what happens is when we are sitting at 6 o'clock in the morning to sit in meditation, if we are not aware, the mind will go to sleep. So the layaha is one of the obstacles, and the best way to get rid of this is telling yourself auto-suggestion, saying that for the next 20 minutes, I am going to be alert. I am going to be alert. I'm going to be aware, totally aware of myself. Second is vikshepa. Everybody knows vikshepa means wandering of the mind. Actually, wandering of the mind is nothing else, but it is a guna. Guna means it's a quality of the 5 elements. It's got nothing to do with me, the Atma. I am that pure awareness, consciousness, the spiritual principle, and the mind is made up of the 5 elements. It will be wandering in its nature, but I can control this wandering. First, we have to bring the tamoguna into control. That means the inactive mind should be controlled first, and then the rajoguna mind, which is a video cassette player. You know, the moment you close your eyes, the player keeps on, the player is on. It will bring all their past experiences, like a TV, like you watch a TV outside, you'll be watching the mind inside. All the yesterday's experiences will come. 10 years, 30 years ago, something happened, those experiences will come. That is all called as vikshepa. It makes the mind turbulent, it makes the mind restless, and it makes the mind extremely strong and unyielding. These are the problems of the mind, which Arjuna explains in this chapter. To which the Lord says the abhyasa and vairagyam are the two solutions. Rasaswada means sometimes when we sit in meditation, we just are enjoying the quietude, and then we just go on and living with that quietude. This is called as rasaha. Rasaha means it is enjoyment of the quietude of the mind. This is not the end of meditation. It is an obstacle. Suppose I keep on observing the quiet mind and I'm not thinking of the Atma or the consciousness or principle or the pure awareness principle. That is an obstacle. You're just enjoying your own happiness of a quiet mind, but you're not thinking of Atma. This is also called as Maya. That means you're again still involved in the five elements. Then the last one is basically it's impurities which are there, another form of vikshepa. Now these are kama, krodha, matsarya, raga, dvesha. These are all the objects which are in the mind. I can get rid of these objects by saying I am a sakshi principle. I am not the object, but I am the awareness principle. These are all explained beautifully in Mandukya Upanishad, in the 3rd chapter of Mandukya Upanishad. So this is the verse I was talking about, the 34th verse in the 6th chapter, where it says that Chanchalam hi manak Krishna pramathi balavad dhridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkrutam. The mind is restless, turbulent, strong, and unyielding. If you want to go into a depth, you see the notes for these verses and you will understand the nature of the mind. Ultimately, to know and to quieten the mind, there is only one way, is to think of Atma. And that is the remedy for this has been said. I have already told you the remedy is abhyasa and vairagyam. These are the two remedies. Abhyasa means what? Practice. With auto-suggestion that for the next 15 minutes, let Lord take care of all my problems. Ananyas chintayo mam. I will now, Lord will take care of the problems. I will now meditate on Atma. And whenever the mind wanders, bring it back, shift the attachment from the world to Atma. There are two verses in chapter 11 and 18 which talk about vairagyam, which are mentioned here. Manmana bhava madbhaktaha madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyo jasime. That means fix your mind on me. The Lord again and again says that you fix the mind on me, then your mind will be controlled. The moment we value the greatness, that there is a higher principle, which we call it as Ishvara, or we can call it by any name, that there is some principle which is controlling this mind. And I want to be away. I want to hold on to that imperishable principle called as pure awareness. Then my priority in life shifts. I will be shifting from anatma to atma, from dvaitam to advaitam, from world to God. That is what is called as vairagyam. The shift in priorities. And the benefits of meditations have been said at the end of this chapter. Chitta uparama means peaceful mind. I will have fulfillment, tripti. The 21st verse, these are all verses. I've put it in the next slide. If you want, you can go to the details. Any aspect of this 6th chapter, if you want to study, I will be sending the notes, a detailed notes of verse by verse descriptions of all this when I send the video. Our second benefit is atyantika sukham, absolute happiness. Very important point. Normally, when we get happiness from the world, it is from indriya sukham. That means the sense organs, when they are in touch with the sense objects, we get happiness in the world. That is called as indriya sukham. But now we are talking about the absolute happiness, which is grasped by the intellect. When the thoughts in the intellect come down, this buddhi, this intellect, realizes that pure Atma. When it realizes that pure consciousness awareness principle, that is called as absolute happiness. Why is it called absolute? Because there is nothing beyond that. There is nothing beyond that in human fulfillment. You cannot, there is nothing in the world which you need to achieve after having that accomplishment of pure absolute happiness. Niratiya shaya lahaba means normally when we have happiness, it is mixed with sorrow. But this union with the self is the ultimate happiness which we can get in meditation. Dukkha samyoga viyoga. That means you separate yourself from the thoughts of sorrow in the mind. That is one of the benefits of meditation. Then we have another benefit is sarvatra atma darshanam. That means I see oneness in the entire universe, because it is the same awareness principle which is behind every mind. And that gives me uttamam sukham. And the final is there is only one consciousness principle in this entire universe, and I am aware of that. The moment I say aham brahma asmi, I am that pure awareness, I get all the benefits which are there in meditation. All completely fulfilled, because there is nothing else beyond this Atma. These are the verses which have been referred to. You can go into these verses at depth. This chapter, if you are really serious, you should be able to study this on your own. And if you have questions, you can call me or you can send me an email. I can have a chat with you on any aspect of meditation, because this is it's a deep topic, and you may find difficulties, but with proper guidance, you will be able to overcome the obstacles. The last portion of this, the 6th topic, is again a summary of what is the benefit of meditation. Is two forms. One is Saguna Ishvara Dhyanam. These are technical terms used here. And what do you mean by Saguna Ishvara? Means suppose you are a great bhakta or a devotee of some Lord. You can say that that Lord is in my body. That means my body is a temple. And that Lord is present all the time. I feel his strength all the time. I don't need to worry about anything, because that feeling is always there. That here the Lord can refer to awareness, consciousness principle in this body also. It need not be a form. So once I'm attached to that consciousness, I can get rid of fear, insecurity, diffidence. And this consciousness is never away from you because that is you. Nirguna dhyana means I meditate on that formless nature of consciousness, as said in the 55th verse of the second chapter. I am full, I am complete, I am a Jivan Muktaha. I don't have any psychological crutches anymore. I don't depend on any external object for my happiness. That is what you get in meditation. The mind strengthened by Atma Dhyanam can face any dukkham. This is the promise of Lord Krishna. He says, practice meditation, strengthen your mind, you can face any situation outside. So the final message is Atyantika Sukha Prapti. That means absolute happiness is what you gain. Paripurna Dukkha Nivarti. I get rid of all my sorrows because now I am attached to the Atma. That gives a tremendous strength to the mind. The mind gets strength only by meditation on that pure awareness consciousness. Arjuna asks a question, what happens, suppose in meditation I am not successful? What will happen to me? What will happen to the seekers? To which the Lord says, there are two possibilities. You go with the optimism that moksha I will definitely get. I will be free from the problems of my mind and the problems of my body, which is called as Jivan Mukti. But suppose I am not able to get it in this birth, what he says is, definitely you will get it in the future birth. So, Chitta Shuddhi is the Mukhya Phalam. That means that Chitta Shuddhi here means purity of mind, maturity of mind. That is the normal result you will get, which you should get out of meditation. But suppose you don't achieve that, in future there will be two types of birth. Either you will be born in the Swarga Loka, that means you will get a body and you will enjoy because of your punyam in this birth, because of the merit of doing dhyanam or meditation in this birth. Here the Lord says you will go to another higher loka where you will finish your meditation sessions and the final study, and then you will be liberated. Or you will be born again in this universe. Either you will go to a jnani family, that means a family which has got more punyam, more merit, and you will start your journey again. Wherever you have stopped, you will start your journey again, and then you will achieve your success in meditation, and you will have oneness with Atma. Second, he says, is you will be born in a wealthy family. You will not have any problems in going through the usual problems which we all face about earning money, building a shelter, taking clothing, all that. You will be born in a rich family and you will start your journey and you will achieve success spiritually. So these are the verses which are kept in the end. All these verses is just for you. This series being a summary series, I'm not going into the depth of each of these verses. At the end of this chapter, I have given a very, very high form of meditation, which is from a text called as Vichara Sagara. This is a very high level of meditation where you resolve the whole world into your mind. You can go through these notes. Next week, before I start the 7th chapter, I will go through this note This is the highest form of meditation where you resolve the whole world in your own mind. And then you say, I am that pure consciousness. This is from the Vichara Sagara, is a text which I'm learning now. I thought it might be of interest to you. You may not understand it fully. You can go through these notes, but if you're interested, I will just go through this. It is also based on the Tattva, where you try to resolve everything into the 5 elements, and the 5 elements you resolve finally into Atma. There are meditation verses which I have put here from Nirvana Shatkam, Vivek Chudamani, Brahma Jnana Valli Mala, and the Bhagavad Gita. These are different meditation verses which are very good. You can take one verse and meditate. You can use this as and when you are getting more deeper into meditations. I thought this might be useful. Asangoham, asangoham, unattached. These are all techniques of meditation. So with that, I will close today. And if you have any questions, I'll try to answer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Is there any questions which you would like to ask me? I don't have any questions in the chat. I think it was a very absorbing section where people were busy trying to absorb the meditation itself. If you have any questions, yes, Santiago, can you let me know? Maybe you can talk.
Okay. Do you want me to ask now, or do you want to talk afterwards?
No, you tell me. You ask me now.
Yes. When you say that we will be reincarnated, but who is the I? Who is the will? Is the buddhi, the ahamkara, the jiva, our actions? And how come that if I am embodied in this body and then I get reincarnated, it will follow exactly the same constituencies that I've been going through in my life? It's like the very me who defines me is reincarnated. That's the confusion that I have.
Yeah, that's a good question, Santiago. Basically, when you say reincarnation in the Hindu philosophy, it's rebirth, basically having a rebirth. And when we talk about rebirth, this rebirth depends on the causal body. What is the balance, merits or demerits in my account? I will take a birth as per what is the balance experiences which I have to undergo in this universe. So the law of karma means the law of action tells me that I have finished certain actions in this life, be it meditation, be it actions which I have to do for helping people, be it for so many different types of actions, you know, to help your parents, you help your children, you help. I mean, this world which we are in the waking state is basically a world of karma. Karma means action. And any action gives result of joy and sorrow. The experiences which I have had in this birth, I may not get the full joy and the full sorrow in this birth. Therefore, the law of karma will force me to take another body as per the balance in my account of joy and sorrow. That is how the law of karma is described in the Hindu philosophy. Now, what Lord Krishna is saying here is that you have done certain good actions in this life of trying to know yourself. You have tried to do some meditation also, but you have not completed it. Then what he says is you will be reborn into this world again, and you will restart from where you stopped, because this is a spiritual journey. It is not a physical journey, it is a spiritual journey. So in the spiritual plane, we are all traveling. We are all travelers in the spiritual plane. Till we reach our goal, we will not be fulfilled. It is that is how the jiva, or see, your one of the question you asked is, who is taking rebirth? The rebirth is always for the jiva, which is still got certain acts to. When I say jiva, it means reflected consciousness plus the mind. The mind is coming from that balance leftover of the merits and demerits, which I have to complete. The jiva will have to complete his full cycle before it becomes liberated. Let us take an example that you are following this path and you are meditating. You have learned a little bit from the Bhagavad Gita about Atma, and you have tried to do some meditations. You have succeeded. Suppose you are successful here. What will happen? When you're successful here, what will happen is you will realize that I am that pure consciousness without this body and mind, and I am an independent principle. I am free. I am free here and now. So does that answer your question?
Yes, I think I'm trying to understand that is like what defines me going through the rebirth. It's the jiva, which is like the causal body, which is like a bag, which has all my actions, and that get reborn until it gets free, realizing that it's
absolutely
not.
Yes.
Okay,
you are perfect.
Okay.
You got the understanding 100%.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Lakshmi is okay. I'll go up a little bit. Okay, the question is from Lakshmi. The Swamis are gurus of our era like Ramana Maharshi. Are they who didn't get Jivan Mukti in past birth and due to their meditation done in past Janma is born here again? Okay, yes, it could be possible. See, you and I will never be able to know this rules of rebirth. It's only Ishvara, it's only the Lord or some external principle beyond this body and mind which will know what is the actual status of any jiva. That is why we say that there is some external principle which is controlling the mind. We must all believe that there is some controller of this human mind. It is not that by accident I suddenly tomorrow morning I'll start thinking about doing this and that. It's not an accident. Whatever you have done in this life itself for the last 40 years, 50 years is a result. What you will do tomorrow is a result of the last 40, 50 years of your birth in this body. So it is very logical for us to believe that there is some law which governs this rebirth and birth and our experiences. There is some law, and when there is a law, there has to be a controller, and that controller is basically called as Ishvara. So the answer, Lakshmi, to your question is, we will not know, but each one of us will definitely know that there is some controller, and I am being led on this path. And the more I understand, the revelations will come to me itself. This is how this whole this whole spiritual journey is. Anybody else has a question?
Tekaji,
Yes, Baba. Yes.
Okay. The gentleman go first. I go later.
Yeah, Bhai, yeah, bolo, tell me.
Secretary, I want to ask a question. Say, we have done some meditation, we have done some whatsoever, you learn the shastra, this and that, and we go to the higher, in the next birth, maybe to a higher, or come back to earth again. Either way, isn't it?
Yes.
So, but one thing I do understand that until you have really purified your mind, you cannot call yourself a self-realization person. Is it?
Yes, you're right. Unless until you have controlled the mind and have realized that I am not the mind, you can never say I am a jnani.
So the river takes over again and again until you reach the target.
Yes, that's correct. You will take birth again and again unless until you're able to say that I am that pure consciousness. And you will you should be able to say it without any doubt. I am that awareness. Exactly like what, like how I am in my sleep state, that is my real state, but without ignorance. I know myself. The right now, when I'm sleeping, I don't know that I am there as Atma. The same nature continues even in my waking state also, because that doesn't change. But this feeling that that is my real nature has to be very, very deep in our conscious mind. It goes into the subconscious mind. Once it happens, then you're free.
That is the important thing, that your mind must be purified.
Yes, the mind must be purified. You're absolutely right. Correct.
Without it, you're still nowhere.
Yes.
Even you go heaven or come back, same thing again.
Well, that anyway, that we don't bother. You see, that's all not in our hands. We will just leave it to God, who is the controller. Yeah, Jacqueline, you had a question?
Yeah, Mr. Shekhar, thank you very much. I always listen to you, and it's more better and better. I just want to get a confirmation. Aham Brahma asked me, is it also similar to the big I am always? I am.
Yes, it is.
Is it the I am? Are
yes,
they,
yes,
Aham Brahma asked me is equal to I am.
Yes.
All right, good. Thank you for that confirmation.
Okay.
Is the super consciousness that he.
Yes, that's correct. I am that pure consciousness. I am that I am. The moment you say I am and stop with that, that is called as consciousness. That is being with your nature. The moment you say I am Jacqueline, I am mother, I am daughter, I am sister, I am working, I'm, all these are all additions. Stop with I am, then you are with your nature. This is how we learn.
Yeah.
And it can be practiced in life. Even in our day-to-day life, we can keep reminding ourselves that I am that pure consciousness. This practice will help us to control the thoughts. This practice will help us to lead a better life and do what we want to achieve in life. See, this knowledge is extremely useful in order for us to have a good life here, a free life here, of a blissful life here while we are here. That's the knowledge we get from this study of the Gita. Anybody else has a question?
Yes, I wrote on the chat 2 questions.
Yeah. We could say that verse 18 of chapter 6 completes this one sutra of the Yoga Sutra in a way that one sutra is not complete without this understanding. Yes, you're right.
The second sutra, I'm sorry, maybe I misspelled the second sutra.
Yeah. So you're right that unless until we realize this Atma, then we are not complete in our understanding of who we are. Do you have anything else to add there, Santiago?
Yes, my question in a way, I think you answer is that if we just define yoga as Patanjali defines it, is not complete without knowing the understanding of Atman, which is not specified in the sutra.
Yes, correct. That's correct. It's not complete. That means you're talking about verse
Patanjali.
20. Yeah, Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Yes. See, Patanjali is the main contention of Patanjali is Dvaitam. We should be very careful when we are doing Patanjali Yoga Sutra. His contention was blankness of the mind is the final thing in realization. This is the yoga philosophy, which is very different than the Advaita philosophy, which says blankness is not the ultimate nature. Why we say this? Because blankness means you are there and you are observing the blankness. That means you are talking about Dvaitam. In Dvaitam, you can never be free. That is what Vedanta says. These are deeper differences between the yoga philosophy and the Advaita philosophy, which belongs to the Shankaracharya. The 18th verse of this 6th chapter, which you are referring to, it says, when the perfectly controlled mind rests on the self only, free from the longing of the object, then it is said to be united. That is called as yuktaha. You're right. Yukta means that I am the pure consciousness, the self. Once you say that, then you are free. Because why you are free? Because this consciousness, according to the scriptures, is asangaha. Asangaha means it is relationless. There is nothing else in the world. When you attach yourself to ahamkara, the I, the small I, you will always be bound. Because the small I, the ahamkara, which is a reflection of the consciousness in the body, will always be limited. Always. You can never be saying that I am as ahamkara, I am free. You can never say that. Even in Patanjali Yoga Sutras, even after saying, yes, I observe the blank state of the mind, and that is what is the real nature, we must go one step ahead of that. We should just say, I am the witness consciousness, which is aware of the blankness. Blankness is also an object of awareness. It is called as objectless awareness. I hope I have answered that question, Santiago. Akshay, as you mentioned, one who is occupied with full of action is not able to meditate, then he can make balance of meditation and action in doing his duties. Yes. See, doing duty is itself, as we studied in chapter 4 and 5, is itself a form of yoga. So it is a form of, if you do that as a karma yoga, then it is a preliminary step to Atma Jnana. It is meditation is, you need not sit in meditation specifically unless until your mind is ready. And your mind will only be ready. And this is what usually happens. It is the mind which will push you to sit in meditation once you're ready. It will happen automatically. And once your mind is pure and ready, it will seek, what is this pure mind? What am I experiencing? And then it will run to the knowledge of the scriptures. And you will find the answer there in the scriptures. That answer will be the Atma Jnana. So it is a process which will happen. These are all, the cosmic laws are very, very beautiful. So to answer your question, yes, you can do your duty and be, that is what is called as karma yoga initially, which will make you fit for meditation. Murli is asking, please tell me, in the commercial world, we are connected day to day. How can we, without performing any karma? No, I'm not asking don't stop karma. No, no. See, we must be clear. We must do our duty. The body cannot remain even 1 minute without performing an action. That Lord Krishna has said in one of the verses in these chapters itself. What we are saying is just note that in your mind, you just have an attitude. Body is acting, mind is acting. They are all born of 5 elements. So what knowledge we are getting from the Gita is simple. It is the body which is acting, and I am the Atma, which is a witness of this body. And this witnesshood of mine never changes. Yesterday also I was a witness to this body. Today also I am a witness to this body. This is the pure consciousness. It is eternally there. Let the body act. Doesn't matter. Body will do its duty. Body will go through the actions as per prarabdha. You cannot stop it. That is what Lord Krishna will say in the end also to Arjuna. Arjuna, even if you decide that you will not fight, your swabhava is that it will make you fight. That is your swabhava. That's your nature. So you must be very clear that I just need to change the attitude of being a witness, and it will not come immediately. It will take time. The more I learn about this Atma from the Gita or from the Upanishads, we will be able to abide in this Atma and let the actions go on. It will go on anyway. Okay. Any other question?
Just a very short last question.
Yes.
On page 8 of your class notes, you were talking about temporarily surrender at the feet of the Lord, and you cited an Upanishad. What Upanishad was that?
Kaivalya Upanishad. There is a beautiful Upanishad called as Kaivalya Upanishad. It says that before you start meditation, you surrender to the Lord. In Kaivalya Upanishad, there's a verse which says, which talks about meditation, and it gives you steps in meditation. You tell yourself, you see, this is a auto suggestion in your own mind, and you tell yourself that for the next 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I want to put all my problems away. I remember the Guru, or I remember that there is some higher principle. I leave all the problems to that higher principle. And this is a prayer. This is a auto suggestion, and this works. This prayer works because there is no other way by which you can control those thoughts which are bombarding you a lot about your duty, about your, there are so many. The mind has got a preoccupation to worry about all these things, about the future, about the past, guilt of the past, anxiety for the future. So the tip which is given in the Kaivalya Upanishad is, you remember to pray to the Lord and say, you take care of these problems for the 10-15 minutes. I want to now remember your nature in me, because you are there, because you are all pervading. Let me focus on that nature for the next 10 minutes, and I will bring the thoughts of Atma from the Upanishads and the Gita, which I have learned to the best of my ability. And what are the thoughts? Aham Shuddha. I am pure. I am always there. Nityaha means, yes, time and space coordinates are coming and going in me, the consciousness. The moment I wake up, the time and space comes. The moment I go to sleep, the time and space goes into unmanifest condition. Again, I wake up, the mind wakes up. I means the mind wakes up. Again, the time space comes. That means the time and space and the objects of the world are all in time and space only. And this is happening where? It's all happening in me, the consciousness. I am separate from this entire process which is going on. And why is this process going on? That process is going on for the jivas to come into this world, perform some actions and go back. And this whole phenomena of the waking state and the sleep state, manifest, unmanifest conditions of the Prakriti, the matter principle, that is called as the Maya. Maya means it's like a magic show. It is happening in me, the pure consciousness. That is the realization which I get when I am able to put all the thoughts of that Atma together. This is the final realization. Is it clear now what your basic question was? Hello? Yeah, does anybody else have any other question?
Secretary, I got last question.
Yes, tell me.
I was reading the book of this Sri Ramakrishna.
Yes.
He was telling us that in samadhi we see the I consciousness.
Yes, in samadhi, in samadhi we remain as pure I consciousness. That is what is called as samadhi.
But we cannot talk. That means we are really good.
No, there is absolutely nothing else. In samadhi, it is only me. I, the pure consciousness, am. That's all.
So you are the only observer. You cannot tell anybody else.
Nothing.
That, what is the I consciousness consists of? And so
no, nothing. It is only that pure I which is there. That's all.
But it goes and come back again, isn't it?
Actually, that doesn't go and come back. It's only the mind which goes and comes back.
Oh. Thank
It
you.
is the mind which goes and comes back.
Unless we are reborn again, right?
Sorry?
Unless we are reborn again,
the mind, that's correct. You see, the mind again gets reborn along with the body. It will take another body. That's all. The consciousness awareness doesn't take any rebirth and all that. Like, for example, between yesterday and today, what has happened? Only your mind has changed. That's all. Consciousness awareness has remained the same. It is still giving you the same energy to see the world.
It's just like telling that we cannot describe God.
Yes.
Isn't it?
There is
So
no
that
way
is
to
the main
describe.
problem.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
The I consciousness is the pure God.
Yes, that's yes.
So we cannot describe him now.
Yes. Absolutely right. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else has anything else? Otherwise, we'll close for the day.
Thank you.
Thank you and good night to everybody.
Hari Om. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sakurji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wonderful.
Thanks, Jagdish. Very nice. I'm happy you are attending.
Yeah, a bit late, but still a lot to learn.
No
Anyway,
problem.
I get to listen to on the YouTube.
Yeah, that's right. You get the recording also.
Yeah.
Okay. Good night, Jagdish.
Good night.
Good night.